Alright, so this is the part immediately following grabbing paraglider. So as you'd expect, whistle for the bokoblin, re-equip shield on the way down. I have to whistle twice here because it acts weird when you reload. Um, Hold up, I need to swap back, pause, right there. So this little dot right here in the bricks is where I am going to need to aim to do this BTB. Still not used to swapping back and forth between. Okay, there it is. This little dot there, aim there, shoot arrow, swap to ice arrows. As soon as the bokoblin turns left, shoot next to his foot, jump forward, bullet time. And there I got a really late bullet time, but it still manages to get me all the way there. So when I land at Hyrule Castle, I'm gonna land at the balcony outside of the observatory. I'm gonna grab the 3 ancient arrows, the royal bow, and the bundle of 5 arrows that are there. I'll also be pausing since things are having to load here anyway. When I got the Fierce Deity mask earlier on tower, I didn't equip it right away because it makes more sense to do it here while things are loading. Alright, so just barely enough stamina to get here. If I would have jumped a little, or if I would have spun a little bit later, it would have been fine. But yeah, healing up 2 hearts, equipping the mask, and as soon as I unpause, the cutscene plays. Skip the cutscene, open chest, bow, arrows. Okay, gonna aim. Go back a little bit. I aimed a little bit more to the left than I should have, but it seems lining it up with this here seems to be about what gives me the best angle, so that's what I'll be trying to do unless I find something that's better. Double pause for lag here since you don't need the D-pad input at castle. My launch did go a little bit to the left because of how I aimed. And I did make a mistake here, so instead of facing towards the north, I faced towards the south. So when I drop down on the flagpole, I have to turn around to talk to the Korok. So ideally, I'll be facing north whenever I drop down here. Drop down, and I should have swapped to these runes while I was falling. I would ideally do it like sometime right then. Swap to Magnesis, get the Korok underneath. I'm gonna be saving and reloading here, obviously quite a few times. I'm aiming to get a core and either spring or screw. because that gives the least amount of lag. In this example, I just went with 2 screws. If you get shafts or ancient gears, they cause a lot of lag, and just to keep things as fast as I can manage, I'm just going to try to either get core and spring or core and screw. So this push isn't that great, but I don't have a lot of experience using the door. I used to use Amiibo chest for this, so this is something I'll have to practice a bit. So you'll see, especially like right here, I'm fumbling around a bit, but hopefully it won't be like that in the final. Okay, so I'm gonna run over here, swap to fire arrows, and then here's where I'm gonna cook my cold resistance meal. So sunshroom, 4 peppers. I'm gonna skip on ahead through some of this pushing. I don't think anything particularly interesting happens. You can generally see the path I'm trying to follow here. So I push the Guardian forward a little bit, then shoot this crest because it's at an annoying angle to get later in the run, so it's better to just do it here. Start to push the Guardian again, but the other Guardian already noticed me, so I'm gonna swap to Ancient Arrows, shoot it. Continue pushing the Guardian here. And the other Guardian's always gonna notice me here, so I have to strafe around the laser a little bit. I don't think he gives me too much trouble here. He only targets me like once. Okay, so just continuing to push it along this path. This does seem to be the ideal place to get a Darner because it's still daytime, and because I'm just walking along fairly casually. They spawn. Compared to me trying to get it later when I'm wind bombing everywhere, they can be a bit unreliable as far as like landing and them spawning quickly, so getting a Darner while I'm on this path is pretty good. Skipping on ahead, just pushing it forward, dropping the door and running. Another Guardian here, same thing, killing it with the Ancient Arrows, pushing this forward, grabbing the parts. Alright, so right about here, I'm gonna push this Guardian right next to this pile of rocks, and I'm gonna use the door to break this pile of rocks here. I missed the first time. So throw the door away, wind bomb this direction, And right about here, this is where I'm aiming to stop, and I think I did a pretty good job in this clip of stopping about where I need to. Let me do this. Yeah, right about there. And then I glide back, it's already spewing out the parts. And I cut out, it was about 2 minutes and 30 seconds that I'm sitting here grabbing parts before I max out. But I cut all of that time out because obviously there's no reason to watch all of that. But you'll see the time of day change immediately. Alright, so I'm maxed out on parts. I get this Korok, which gives me an autosave. I talk to the Korok again, not picking up the rock, and turn the camera over towards the Guardian. You'll see it's still trying to spawn parts, and it'll do this for about 10 seconds. But after it's through spawning, I can leave the text box and reload without having to close software and reopen it. Okay, so I'm gonna heal up 2 hearts. I'm roughly... I need to double check this angle to make sure. But I try to put the cursor of this part roughly right around here. Just kind of put this entire part here, like inside of this. So that's my visual cue for that. I also try to get lag here. I've gotten lag looking at the castle and also looking over at the forest over here. But I've also managed to get it looking at the bridge. I think my time of day might not allow me to get lag, but I'm pretty sure I've got it here before. I'll just have to play around with it. But if I can't get lag here, it's not a big deal. But during the second pause, heal another heart. And drop down to open this chest. This is where I'll be getting a Royal Guard's Claymore with 116 damage. I just went with long throw here because I don't need the damage for anything yet. And so here... I didn't have anything specific I was aiming at here. I still need to find a good visual cue to figure out where is like slightly off of east. But generally like right around here will give me the angle I need. The turn I got here was a little bit higher than I wanted, but it still managed to get me to the shrine. So I just went with it. But ideally I'll get something that's a little lower and faster. Swap to Square Bomb because we'll need Square Bomb first when we enter the shrine. This isn't exactly how I'm gonna end up doing this. I do still hit the ceiling here, but I managed to be able to do it without taking damage. If you delay bullet time a little bit with this setup, you will get you'll get less height from it, which means I can just pull glider and then just run over here without ragdolling around. This splice right here is gonna look pretty weird. I apparently deleted my clip of this. So time of day is gonna look weird and it's not gonna have the things here that I need, but just to preface that. So you automatically get the right angle stepping out of the shrine for this. Swin bomb puts you right about here. I wait for the round bomb to come back. I didn't do a late circle here, but it helps. So late circle, delayed square spawn, just so I can get some more height from this turn. Right here, there would be a black bokoblin attacking an NPC, so I would sneak strike the bokoblin, talk to the NPC for a monster extract, which you can see in my menu there. That's where that comes from. After getting the monster extract, heal 1.5 hearts. Aim. Let's see. Aim right at the peak of this mountain here. This part of the mountain. Turn to the left, and this gives me a good angle to go over by this rock. Now once the moblins load in, I'm gonna sprint really quickly just to get the attention of this one. And I'm also gonna sprint a second time, because sometimes he'll stop right before he gets where I need him to be. So sprinting a second time, getting my ice arrow ready. Right here, this is a little bit tricky. I think I need to practice this part a bit more, because usually I aim a little bit further up, and that means that I have to spin attack in order to get this BTB, but with where I aim this time, it just managed to give me the BTB without doing that, so this would be better, and probably something I should aim to practice and learn the visual cue for. So yeah, no spin attack, still get the BTB. This sends me over Satori Mountain and right where I need to be at the shrine. Shrine still hasn't loaded. If it would load, I would just go ahead and get the warp point. But with it unloaded, I just go ahead and walk inside. For this shrine, immediately jump to the right. If you do it to the left, you'll end up hitting the bars at the top, so jump to the right. Very early square, and then bullet time. And this gives me a low enough angle that I can just immediately execute this and be able to go to the end of the shrine without hitting the ceiling. A little bit late on dropping glider there, but no problem. Just clicking through this. And here I forgot to activate the shrine. This is the point where I would need to do that if I do get an unloaded shrine when I'm here. So I aim fairly quickly for this. What I'm aiming for is this bush right here. Trying to line the reticle up with this part of the bush. This still managed to give me a good angle though, so I went with it. And the super will get me all the way over to this Korok. I've tried to find a way to get a little bit more height for this, but it doesn't. This seems to be the best combination of like height and speed. And I don't have to climb up. I just grab this part of the ledge here and I'm able to run over this Korok. So I missed the throw on this, but usually if you stop right around these two rocks and throw it, you'll be able to get it'll be able to fall in the right place. I think you have to grab the rock at like a certain angle so it won't roll. And I didn't do that here, so I'll have to figure that out. Got fairly close, but when I do get the Korok, it spawns right here. So it gives me a good angle to just immediately do this one bomb without having to aim. The first one bomb, now I'm just waiting on the bomb cooldown. Gonna heal up another heart. Okay, getting just enough height to get up here. Swap to Magnesis. Get this Korok. And immediately after this Korok, I'm gonna eat cold resistance food. Healing up the rest of my hearts, and then keeping me safe from the cold for a little while. So this one I still need to look for a better visual cue for it. I aimed a little more to the right than I usually would here. I usually try to keep this part of the reticle within this part of the mountain. Try to aim this like in here, have it look more like that. But anyway, this one worked out, so it sent me a little far to the right. Okay, so swap to fire arrows, swap to sledgehammer, drop down, shoot, hit the ore, get the luminous stones, run over, shoot another fire arrow, hit both of these, shoot another fire arrow. I've noticed that doing it this way means that I have to shoot one extra fire arrow than normal. I'm not sure if there's a specific part on the shrine that I can aim from back here that'll let me do it with just 7 fire arrows. So if any of you happen to know that, just make sure to let me know. And yeah, weird splice here, but when I got inside the shrine, I noticed that the skews that I was getting there weren't really strong enough for what I needed. So before going in the shrine, I'm gonna go up here above this circle because the circle part is a little less steep of a skew. So right around here, right above the circle, is where I'm gonna want to set skew. Run over, activate, and go in. I'm gonna immediately wind bomb at the center and bounce off the middle pillar. This clip you're about to see is really strange, but it's really hard to clip in this shrine, so I just went with it. Gonna do a normal ESC here. I did try to do the grounded ESCs or the quick ESCs like I did on Plateau, but I couldn't get them to work here, so this may be the better option. So, looks like I fall, pulls me back through, and now I'm in between the bars, so I have to turn around a little bit. Ideally, this won't happen. So, but yeah, it gets me through the shrine, so that works for a draft. Okay, so exiting the shrine, have to re-equip shield, flop because I got ragdoll glitch from the ESC. Trying to center my camera right here, roughly here, compared to where Link is. Trying to scope in that direction. Backflip on the pedestal, wind bomb, and then kill this dog, this coyote here. And immediately after killing it, swapping to ice arrows, because I'll need those next. I didn't do it here, but I need to collect both pieces of meat. Ideally, one of these will have to be a Royal Gourmet meat, because I need it for a side quest later. So I'll have one Royal Gourmet meat and one other piece of meat to heal later. And right here, I noticed that the stalls spawn depending on what direction you're facing. So I face away from the boxes so that they'll spawn off to the right. And I can just throw a bomb and disrupt them while I do this stasis bounce. I think I jumped a tiny bit late for the stasis bounce. I didn't have as much stamina as I would have liked. So, landing on this little part of land right up here, and then there will be an air current just to the right that I'm going to use to go up and hit this moblin. Thankfully, this moblin doesn't sleep, so I don't have to wake it up or do any kind of setup here. Just go up the air current. It's already facing a usable direction, so just shoot it, swap to normal arrows so I can get bullet time. I'm going to push it against this rock just so it lines up with its back lines up with it. Go up here, aim just to the right. I'm gonna see if I can find a better angle for this because it still doesn't give me a perfect angle here. But aiming just to the right of its spine. And we're going up here. This is one of the hardest areas to get to just because it requires so much height. So doing this very early means I can warp back here and kind of work my way down later. Okay, so go in the shrine. Still trying to find a better wind bomb for this part, but I think I did it, yeah, right here. Swap to square first, or swap to square bomb so I can do a square first wind bomb in the shrine. And I want something that's a little bit lower, but also allows me to pull glider without ragdolling along the ground. This was the best I could manage last night, so something like this, but hopefully a little bit faster. All right, and that's all I've got for this part.